in the last hour or so, and Israel Kudo into it, and it's that the start of the 2017-2018 Ghana Premier League season has been thrown into disarray after the Ghana Football Association received a court injunction from an Accra-based court on behalf of Division 1 side Accra Great Olympics, stopping the kickoff. So the story is on myjoyonline.com, and this happened around 4 p.m. this afternoon. So they put an injunction on Sunday's Ghana Premier League start. It was supposed to start this weekend, and the league was scheduled to kick off on the 11th, but the injunction, the start date is very likely to be postponed. We can confirm that. And according to Commodore Mensah, chief executive of the club, he was at the GFA Secretariat this afternoon to hand over the injunction. So, as you may know, and as we had said since last week, the league was supposed to be launched today. We're supposed to have the new logo also outdoor. Let's go to Twitter to see. So this is what we had as at 6 p.m. This is from 2 hours ago. The setup was done at the GFA. Journalists were seated, guests were invited, and then the legal team of the GFA told them that, you know what, because of this injunction and the constituents of the injunction, which is that the launch could not go on, the league could not start, and also the GFA Congress could not go on, none of it could be, could commence. So, yeah, the reason why Olympics have put an injunction is that they believe that last season they had 2 cases against 2 clubs. They believe that even though the GFA ruled against them, the rulings were not satisfactory. So that is why. Now let's go to Chelsea and Watford. Watford are hosting Chelsea. We understand that there is a red card for Timoe Bakayoko. He's had a terrible season, and he's been given a red card. There it is. It's 0-0. As if Chelsea don't have enough problems on their own. And there was a lot of talk before this game, whisperings that if Chelsea lose this tie, Antonio Conte may be sacked. That is what we are hearing. We don't know how concrete that is, but with Roman Abramovich, you never know. I'll be showing you highlights of that game at 10:30 on the football show. However, this weekend was one big one for one particular other London club. It's Arsenal. They lined up their new signings and, well, they paired like a Mercedes-Benz engine, if that's the kind of thing, or probably a BMW. And Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang showed what Arsenal have been missing for some time. The new number 7 and the new number 14 made sure that Arsenal won by 5-1. What was their atmosphere like? Let's now go to London, to somebody who was there to gauge the mood at the Emirates. Chris Whitley is a correspondent for Arsenal for Goal.com. Many thanks for your time, Chris.
Hi, Gary. Absolute pleasure to be on, as always.
Right. So, first of all, I understand from those who were there that the atmosphere in the stadium is something that hadn't been seen in quite a while, the expectation before kickoff.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I noticed before kickoff, is that there are a lot more fans inside the stadium. We've noticed a bit of apathy inside the Emirates over the past few months, last season especially, when there were those Wenger out protests. But because of these new signings, there just seemed to be a bit of extra incentive for fans to kind of turn up, really support the team and get behind those new signings. And they duly delivered. Aubameyang was absolutely superb. He scored a goal. It was marginally offside, but, you know, it was still a goal nonetheless for him. And Mkhitaryan got a hat-trick of assists, and he was absolutely superb. For me, despite Ramsey getting the hat-trick of goals, Mkhitaryan was man of the match. He was outstanding.
You were there also. One of the 2 or 3 questions that arose from such a good win was tactical. What happens to Jack Wilshere now that Ramsey has scored a hat-trick? Next week, there's the North London derby. What is the Arsenal hierarchy saying about who will start? Ramsey or Wilshere?
Well, I think after his hat-trick, it looks like Aaron Ramsey's probably going to start against Tottenham. But it's not definite yet. Wilshere could, of course, play. He was out ill over the past few days, and that's why he wasn't involved from the start against Everton. But I feel like he's the kind of player who does add a bit of incisiveness, a bit of bite to that Arsenal midfield. Alongside Ramsey, he's really, they do have a good partnership. But whether it leaves Arsenal too open defensively in midfield is another question. And if that's something that Arsene Wenger really needs to work out. I mean, Wenger said recently, when he was asked, how can you fit these players into the team together with Mkhitaryan, Wilshere, Ramsey, Iwobi? And his reply was, you just play all the good players. And, well, that's typical Wenger, isn't it? But at the same time, you kind of agree with him. It worked against Everton, and it could easily work at Wembley against Tottenham.
Yeah. The other thing you cued me into that question is playing the good players means that a summer acquisition like Lacazette may also be on the bench. Do you see Wenger playing a 3-5-2 with Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, well, all the four of them, all the five great players in there, or is there one of them who's going to be benched?
It's possible that they could start up front together, but I think the likelihood of them starting up front together in their second game since Aubameyang has been in the club is probably not likely. I think Lacazette is going to be used in the Europa League. Well, obviously Aubameyang's cup tied, so Lacazette will get game time this season. He's probably not going to be too happy that he's basically number 2 now to Aubameyang. But I think Aubameyang is clearly more experienced. He's got better goal record. He's the better striker in my opinion. And I think for Saturday's game against Tottenham, you want your best players on the pitch, and Arsenal could be left defensively exposed if they have too many attacking players, as I just said. But it will be interesting to see what Wenger does. We don't know what he's going to do yet.
Sure. I mean, the complaint forever and ever from Arsenal fans has been that the team doesn't buy when they need to. But many agree that this transfer window has been quite good for the Gunners. Do you get the same vibe around the Emirates, or was there an insistence that Wenger could have done more this January?
I think overall Arsenal fans were pretty pleased with the transfer business from January. The big news really is that Sven Mislintat, a lot of people have been talking about him. He's the Arsenal new head of recruitment, head scout, whatever you want to call him. And he has been integral in Arsenal's January transfer dealings. He had a lot of problems towards the end of his time at Borussia Dortmund, but he's managed to be integral in the signing of Mavropanos, the young Greek defender, at the start of the month, Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, of course, who he knows from his time at Dortmund. And I think overall, Arsenal fans will be happy that they managed to get those world-class attacking players over the line after losing Alexis Sanchez. But at the same time, they're still short defensively. They did need a defender, a centre-back. And Johnny Evans was someone they looked at. They bid quite low for him, though, so obviously that move didn't go over the line. They left it late as well. In general, there is a feeling that Arsenal, the fact they didn't get a defender, it could come back to haunt them. We've seen again and again, time after time this season, defensive mistakes, individual mistakes have cost them at the back. So really, it was kind of important that they did get a defender, but we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season pans out. There's still a possibility for trophy success, of course.
Chris Wheatley, many thanks for your time. I know you have a match at 9. You can get onto it now. Right, that's Chris Wheatley joining us from London. He watched the game involving Arsenal and Everton, which the Gunners won by 5-1. And that's the sport for now. My name is Gary L. Smith. You can join me, please do, for the highlights of Chelsea's game at Watford. It's currently 0-0 with a red card to Timothy Bakayoko. Join us then.